I spent the last week in a valley in the Pyrenees, a beautiful mountain range at the centre of Catalonia, straddling the border of France and Spain. It's stunning, empty, and completely accessible from Barcelona by public transport. The leaves were turning brown, and there was a chill in the air that hasn't yet arrived in the city. I spent the weekend watching clouds, listening to rivers, and looking down over valleys. I hope this video captures something of the beauty and stillness I found there. 2 weeks ago, when my friend Mend told me they'd discovered a place in the Pyrenees accessible by train with cheap off-season rooms and that they were going there on a solo trip, I basically invited myself to come along. The Vall de Núria is a valley in the Pyrenees which has a single hotel that used to be a guest house for Catholic pilgrims. In 1931 it became a hotel and a rack railway was built to take guests up the mountains to reach it, pilgrimage across rocky terrain no longer being a term of entry. The rack railway ticket also pays for one trip up a cable car to get to the top of the mountain, so after a quick snack we took the cable car up to the top of the hill and began our roaming from there. Bird app is being revealed.
I don't know if it's going to perform well enough here. Merlin Bird ID is you push the sound ID button and it listens for birds and tells you what it can hear cheeping. And I can hear birds, but they might be too quiet.
Do we have to go down there and see? I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down for some.
We have to go to where the trees are, either up or down.
Man, you don't know how much I needed a bird-related side quest. I didn't know what I needed, and I think this is it. One of my favourite moments was sitting over the valley that first day, watching the clouds form shapes, just completely stunned. We had just arrived, still carrying the stress of our daily lives, the unfinished to-do lists, the various dramas that awaited us in the city and in the world. But I had never seen clouds do what I saw the clouds do around us on those mountains, and they stunned us into presence. I thought a lot about a Derek Mahon poem that we studied in school while I looked at those clouds, so I'm going to read it here. How should I not be glad to contemplate the clouds clearing beyond the dormer window, and a high tide reflected on the ceiling? There will be dying, but there's no need to go into that. The poem flows from the hand unbidden, and the hidden source is the watchful heart. The sun rises in spite of everything, and the far cities are beautiful and bright. I lie here in a riot of sunlight, watching the day break and the clouds flying. Everything is going to be alright.
Or it looks like if we went down the rest of the hill that we were chilling on, then we would get to that path. Just means at some point we have to
walk back up?
Yes. Or it's possible from that side.
Something I thought about a little was the sense of place I felt in these mountains. Men's project for the weekend was to walk all the way to the French border. My health has been a little chaotic lately, and I had no intention of attempting a 5 to 6 hour mostly vertical hike, but I thought it was interesting. We were near a border. We were in a liminal zone, a place where one country bleeds into another. Yet, ask a Catalan to draw a map and suddenly we are smack dab in the middle of a place, not on a border, but at the centre of something. Liminality then, perhaps, which is to say the notion of being in between things, depends on who's drawing the map and why. I have a video of you looking literally like an omen of death.
We'll go to the end of this room. We can stand up.
Where I come from, we don't walk through stone formations like this. Walking with the wind whipping at my hair and the sound of my own breath, I was really feeling the discomfort of this phase of my life and the joy of it, which I think comes from being at the edge of things, the edge of one way of being and the start of another. The feeling of a period of life that seems to straddle a border, the thought that perhaps if I look at it from a different angle, it has its own fullness to it, its own centrality. We got up to see the sunrise, but it is kind of raining, so the sunrise might be a gradient of grays to grays. Spook City. So if you put your head in that pot, you're granted children. If it's a girl, You have to name the girl Núria, and if it's a boy, it's something else. I can't remember what it is. Incredible.
You put on your pants and I will continue playing Pokemon Go.
I love that you take a pause from what is effectively real life Pokemon Go. Like you're looking for birds and then you go inside and you look for fake birds.
You gotta alternate between real and fake birds and spiders.
I gotta be befriending more biologists. Every single other gay person I know has a degree in arts and humanities.
Yes.
And we're never like looking for birds, we're just looking for like symbols of meaning. And it is not the like mentally healthy break that we need.
No, it is something different to look into the sky and see a bird of prey soaring by, and instead of being like, I wonder what that means for my life.
Yeah.
Ooh. I am never thinking about Foucault while I'm out and about.
It also makes you such a fantastic traveling companion. I walked up here this morning with Mend, but it was very spooky and cloudy and dark, which was gorgeous, but I wanted to come back here so I could see the views of the valley. My lungs are a bit on fire though, so I don't think I'm going to do anything more strenuous than this. I think this is where I'm gonna kind of just hang out. I haven't been that well this last couple of months, but I think I'm doing a good job being here and enjoying a bit of nature, which is so good for you on a soul level, and then also knowing my limits and being like, I'm not gonna hike, I'm just going to walk in a leisurely fashion towards the nearest bit of mountain and then just sort of frolic around in it. I've just like walked for long enough that there's no other humans and I can see nothing but trees, and from here on out my plan is just read my book and eat a couple of cupcakes. This is our room, by the way. This is what we call a Murphy bed. I don't know what it's called. Is that what they call it everywhere? This is my bed. I haven't stayed in an actual hotel in a very long time. I feel very fancy. Good morning. We're getting up to see the sunrise. Mend is a little bit ahead of me, but we're walking to a viewpoint to see the valley. I'm gonna meet them on this rock. Ooh, look at the tip of that mountain. Mend's doing some very serious ultra photography.
See France now. Here, the Pic de Finestrelas, which is that one. I think some of those are also France on the top, but I'm not sure.
Or Catalonia North, depending on who's asking. Our last morning we walked up a stream and spent a while lying in the sun, listening to the water and watching the animals that appeared and disappeared around us. We talked about the idea that so much of what we look for and that sort of grabs hold of us as a generation, we could probably find the answer to just by listening to rivers more. None of which, of course, is to say that the mountains brought me total peace this weekend. In some ways, the peace of the mountains only showed me my own disorder. In the city, especially in my neighborhood, there is so much chaos around. It matches where I'm at right now, I think, internally. I feel sort of in sync with it, which is a type of pleasure and peace in itself. Sometimes I think places like this, trips like this, which are slow and present and beautiful and healthy and peaceful, can actually hold a certain discomfort. On walks, even relatively short ones, the motion of movement over rocky paths seems to jerk loose thoughts I didn't feel like confronting. This is often the way in life. Still, when Mend pitched me the trip, they mentioned their desire to walk to France, to look for birds, and to moodily contemplate their life. I didn't partake in the hike to the border, but the rest I fully committed to. One evening we convened in the bar, and over tea we discussed how the moodily contemplating was going, and they told me that after their vertical hike to France, they came down, and having turned over a couple of thoughts in their head all afternoon, they said something like, some things are shit, but overall it seems workable. We can't ask the mountains to give us answers to everything. That would be an unreasonable ask. I do not have the answers, but I can get myself further up a mountain than I could several years ago. And I'm becoming frightfully multilingual, and I have a buddy, and I have clouds. And it all seems, on balance, workable.
Great.